Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. Greetings, fellow Poltermasters. I am Crash Rouse, and it's once again time to crash the scounds with this fan fiction reading. So this is going to be an odd one for the channel. I'm going to warn you in advance. It's going to be me literally reading a story to you guys. So this is one you don't have to actually watch. So if you want, put this on in the background while you play a game or just hang out or anything, and just listen to a story. So a lot of you guys are very talented, honest to God. You write some amazing stories, come up with a lot of ideas and fan fictions and all this stuff. And when I first say fan fictions, people are gonna be like, "Ew, gross, fan fictions." No. Some of these fan fictions are amazing, and that's why I want to focus on you guys with your amazing fan fictions on the channel. So for this one here, you guys might know of Rainstorm. So Rainstorm has been on this channel a lot because she sent me 2 amazing fan mail pieces, and along with that, she's sent me so many cool stories and song ideas and everything. I'm just blown away by the talent of this girl. She has a YouTube channel, so I will give her a shout out. There will be a link in the description, so you can go check her out. She's posted videos now, which is really awesome, so it's awesome to check that out. So today, I'm going to be reading a story that she sent me related to Bash. So obviously, I'm going to like it. So I read about 4 or 5 paragraphs and I decided to stop. So you know what? Let's read it fresh for you guys. So she warned me that some things may be spelled wrong. So I'm going to, if I can't understand what it actually is, I will try to interpret the best that I can. So there's 2 parts to this. So if you're watching this and listening and you say, "Man, that's really good, I'd like to hear part 2, then I will gladly do part 2. But I also have another story I'll be recording, which will be uploaded pretty soon on the channel too. So we're going to read this story out here now. I'm going to take a quick drink and get right into it. So the story is called Heart of Gold. So the synopsis, or synopsis, whatever you want to call it. Bash is determined to win Flashwing's heart, and he's convinced that flight is the key to success. He enlists the help of his friend Echo as he goes through an escapade of flight and might. However, is the ability to fly really what it takes to win Flashwing's heart? And how far is Bash willing to go? So the whole story is based around Bash and, his love for Flashwing. So the whole point of this is for Bash to think that Flashwing wants someone who can fly. And I guess this is one of those, coming-of-age stories that he realizes, maybe I don't need to fly for Flashwing to like me. But we'll see. I'm not going to break into it. I'm just going to read the story now. So, here we go. Bash stared anxiously at the calendar in front of him. Every year this came about. Every year it laid on the pressure thicker than normal. Every year he sought the best advice he could. Every year he tried, and every year he failed. Every year he failed to tell Flashwing the way he truly felt about her on this very special day. Valentine's Day was now only 3 days away, and Bash was determined to impress the girl of his dreams like never before. He knew what he had to do different this time. In years past, he had gotten most of his advice from the other guys. Some of them had been successful with ladies themselves, but their advice never seemed to work for Bash. What he needed was direct insight on the issue. He needed to talk to a girl dragon. If anyone could help him wow Flashwing, it would be Echo. Echo had a sense of fashion like Flashwing did, something that Bash personally didn't understand, and was very clever. He considered the other girls, of course, but Whirlwind lacked any form of subtlety? Or subtle... Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. Cinder really wasn't the romantic type, and he didn't know Spotlight very well. So that left him with Echo. Bash took a deep breath. He was going to do it. He was going to ask Flashwing out on a date before Valentine's Day was over. Straightening himself, Bash pushed the boulder that served as the door to his dragon cave out of the way. He strut out into the morning sunlight and closed the boulder behind him. The field in front of him was already bustling with activity as different scholars carried out different tasks. He greeted a few of his friends with high spirits as he walked by, but didn't stop to chat. If he stopped for too long, his doubts would surely catch up on him as they have done before. Out of the corner of his eye, Bash noticed some of the minis rough playing on a smaller island that had long since broken away from the main one. He smiled proudly as the little bop declared himself King of the Rock, but he was dethroned by the blue blur that was Breeze. Bash paused in his stride and laughed to himself. He played the game many times as a young dragon and has learned the same lesson. Never let your guard down to boast. He stood watching a little longer when something else caught his eye. A small form, smaller than even the minis, was swiftly making its way over to them. Bash recognized him as the son of Bad Juju, one of the villains who had reformed. He saw that the kid was going to join in on the fun with the other kids were having, but he also noticed something else. The gap between the islands wasn't huge, but it would require a good, strong leap. Juju Jr. was the only toddler with fleeting control over his wind abilities. Bash's instincts kicked in. One moment he was standing, the next he was trudging forward with great speed. He tucked his head in and began to roll forward in a maneuver that allowed him to move twice as fast. In mere seconds, he closed the gap between him and the edge of the island. Bash sprang out of his roll and leaped forward just as the kid floated over the island's threshold. He smiled in satisfaction and relief as his jaws closed on the kid's collar. That was close. Bash gently set Juju Jr. down well away from the edge. He was about to ask the kid where his mother was, but that question was answered before he could even ask it. "Junior!" Bad Juju's scolding voice called from nearby. The short-tempered wind spirit was beside her son in a flash. "What have I told you about playing near the edge? You cannot fly, son!" I apologize for my terrible accents. I'm going to try. "Play, Mama," Junior pouted and looked over to where the minis had paused their game to watch what happened. "And then ask, son," Juju sighed. "Do not rush off when you get hurt, where you can get hurt." She turned attention to Bash, who had been standing awkwardly off to the side. "It appears I owe you a favor," she said. "Oh no," Bash said. "That isn't necessary. I mean, it was nothing, really." Despite his insistence, Bad Juju was shaking her head. "You do not understand. It is voodoo law. Junior is too young to have a debt, so it falls on me. I owe you one favor. You can use it whenever you see fit, or never at all." Bash still thought of this whole favor thing was a little much. After all, it was his sworn duty as a scholar to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. But at the same time, he didn't want to appear rude, so instead he just said, "Okay." He doubted he would ever actually have to use it. Bad Juju nodded in satisfaction. "Come, Junior," she said. "It's time for you to take a nap." Juju Jr. frowned unhappily, but followed his mother obediently. Bash shook his head to clear it. He had things to do. As Bash resumed his walk to the beach, he overheard the small voices of the minis. "Did you see how fast he was going?" Bob was saying to the others. "That's why he's the best mentor ever." "Psst," Bree scoffed. "Whirlwind could go way faster than that if she wanted to." "And that doesn't make him the best," Small pointed out, the conversation quickly accumulating to an argument of whose mentor was the best, a common topic among the minis. Bash stopped paying attention as his heart swelled with warmth at the younger dragon's praise. He would never get over the feeling of having such a young and vibrant dragon admire him the way Bop did. He couldn't have asked for a better student. Bash picked up his pace and made his way for lost time, and pretty soon the beach came into view. Echo's home was best described as exotic. Being a water dragon, she liked being close to the water as possible. And how much closer can you get than actually being in the water? Echo's home had been built partially submerged in the ocean using giant seashells to form a cave-like structure. It appeared dull and bland from the outside, save for some occasional brilliant blues sticking out here and there, but Bash knew better. The inside was a natural collage of 1,000 blues and greens created from the shell's mother of pearl and the pool that nearly filled the entire cave. Bash often wondered if Echo had originally wanted to live entirely underwater, but consented to leave part of it above land for the sake of non-amphibious guests. Either way, he was grateful there was a land door as well as Echo's preferred underwater one. Bash approached the sandstone door and knocked loudly. He could hear loud music from inside, something pretty typical of Echo. He waited a moment before knocking again. He wasn't surprised that he was left waiting once more. Anyone who knew Echo had long since learned that she never answered the door. Not because she was being rude, but because she could never hear it. Bash always knocked, though, just to be polite. The Earth Dragon let himself into Echo's cave, and the music increased tenfold. He found the dragon nest stretched out on a stone in the middle of a pool. Her eyes were closed, so Bash figured she was dozing. "Hey, Echo!" he called in an attempt to get her attention. "Echo!" He continued to be oblivious to him. "Echo!" The water dragon opened her eyes with a start. "Oh, hey, Bash," she yelled over her music, but Bash could hardly tell what she was saying. Echo gracefully leaped off her rock to her music box. She turned it down enough so they could talk without losing their voices. "What you doing out here for?" "I need your help," he blurted out. Bash could already feel his nerves starting to creep up on him. She was slightly taken back. "Okay, sure." "Great!" Bash said, relieved. He turned for the door. You mind telling me what I'm helping you with?" "Oh, right." Bash felt slightly embarrassed. His nerves were really getting the better of him, and they hadn't even started. It's about Flashwing," he admitted. "You see, I've gotten tons of advice from the guys before, but..." "Say no more," Echo said with understanding. "I'd be glad to give you some girl insight. She gave him a sly smile before opening her door and walking out of her cave. Bash joined and began to walk. So normally, Echo said, I would give you the whole be yourself speech, but I have a funny feeling that you've already been told that 1,000 times, right? Bash nodded. And I will be myself, he said. I just need to impress her first. Like, really impress her. Honestly, Echo said, just having the courage to ask a girl I was impressive in himself. Bash was ready to tell her that would never work when she continued talking. But if you want to go the extra mile, you could always do something nice. Echo thought for a moment. Flashwing likes flowers and all, but what really gets a girl going is gemstones. I know a few stores with excellent necklaces. That's a good idea, Bash said, but don't you think it's too much too soon? She finished for him. Possibly. What did you have in mind? Bash immediately brightened. I need to figure out some way to fly, he said. If I could just do a few cool maneuvers in the sky, that would be sure to impress her. Echo furrowed her brow. Bash, are you sure that's the best idea? He nodded vigorously. Flashwing deserves a dragon who could soar in the sky with her, not someone completely earthbound. I don't have to be always able to fly, but every now and then. Echo shrugged. I guess we can give it a try. Just don't hang your hopes on it, okay, Bash? I won't, he agreed. So what's your plan of action? Well, I've been thinking. I realize I'm not the only dragon who has flight problems. I don't know why I haven't thought of it before. Both Drobot and Chopper have built themselves wings. So you want to try and build a pair of wings? Echo asked. Nah, Bash said. I don't have the techno know-how that Dro and Chopper have. I just thought I might be able to work something out that would be able to make me fly for short periods of time. Well, then let's go, Echo said. If I didn't know any better, I'd say we'd find them in the shop. The workshop was open to all scholars to use for whatever purpose they may need, but it was usually the tech scholars who occupied it. They were right in assuming Drobot and Chopper would be there. Chopper was found working on something that looked like a deadly dino dentures, while Drobot was welding together the broken pieces of a breastplate. Bash and Echo gestured for them to come outside, where their voices wouldn't be drowned by the various lab machinery. Oh god, I gotta do their voices, don't I? Once they all gathered in the sunlight, Bash started explaining his idea to Drobot and Chopper. Both remained silent and thoughtful until he finished. So, you want us to build you a flying suit? Chopper confirmed. That's probably not his voice, but sorry. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, Bash said. I just want to get off the ground for a little while. It would have to be simple. Chopper nodded. He rubbed the handle of his own suit subconsciously. Simple to work, anyway. The little dinosaur scampered in a loop around Bash. You have a heavy build, so a propeller like mine would probably get too exhausting. I think more of like a hand glider style. If you controlled the tail portion with your back legs and steered through the front, he trailed off in thought. The three dragons waited as he continued to ponder the idea. Bash felt excitement flood in his bones. Would this really work? Would he actually finally get to own the sky? I think it could really work, Chopper finally said. Problem is, he started fiddling with his paws, there's no way we would have it ready in time. He gave Bash an apologetic look. Bash did his best to hide his disappointment. After all, it was nice enough that they were so willing to help out. How long do you think it would take? He asked. At least 2 weeks, Chopper said. And that's assuming we aren't called for a mission. Drobot spoke up for the first time. How am I going to do a robot voice? I do have. That's good. He hesitated. I have an old flying suit prototype. He suddenly began to scrape away the grass underneath his claws until he had uncovered a large patch of dirt. He began vigorously scribbling numbers and symbols into the soil, standing back once he was satisfied. Can you answer this in under 30 seconds? He asked Bash. Bash took down the equation below him. X equals 3t4 plus 5t3 plus 9t1 plus 13. V plus 12t3 plus 15t2 plus 9t0. A equals question mark. Find force. Bash hadn't the slightest idea what he was looking at, let alone how to solve it. What happens if I say no? Drobot sighed. Then, according to my calculations, there is a less than 10% chance of this idea working. I'll be right back. Bash watched as a hint of envy as Drobot shot into the sky. If only he had the genius brain that Dro had. He would have been flying in the moment he hatched. If only I had been born with wings. Everything would have been better then. It didn't take long for Drobot to return carrying something rather large. He set his burden down in front of Bash. It didn't take genius to figure out what it was. 2 clunky wing parts, a helmet with goggles, and some sort of tailpiece. This is one of my older, outdated variations on my flight suit, Drobot explained. It works just fine, but it is adjusted by my calculative abilities. He frowned in thought. You can have it if you can work with it, Drobot told Bash. The chance that I'll never need it again is less than 0.5%. Bash looked at the metal parts dubiously. We might as well give it a try. He liked the idea of being able to fly. The idea of having to figure out complicated math problems every 3 seconds? Not too much. Echo and Drobot helped Bash fashion the different parts. The helmet sat awkwardly on his head spikes, and the tailpiece was way too tight. The wings, however, felt great. Bash loved the feeling of an extra weight on his back. Where's the on switch? Chopper asked. It will turn on as soon as it registers and someone is wearing it. Sure enough, lights started flickering on the helmet screen and the whole set hummed to life. The lights became shifting words and numbers that flashed by way too fast for Bash to read. He was liking the idea less and less by the minute. All at once the screen cleared, leaving only a few flashing words. All systems go. Then that too winked out, allowing Bash to see clearly once more. What now? Bash asked. You're going to have to think exactly what you want the wings to do, Drobot said slowly. Be aware of the exact amount of thrust you'll use, what angles it'll move, how fast the wind is, how much turbulence you create each wing beat, how strong. Chopper rolled his eyes and cut in. Just imagine flapping your wings once! Bash closed his eyes in concentration. He could feel how the wings he never had would bounce on his back, how the leathery skin would stretch out, the way his muscles shifted. Bash put all of his focus onto the way it should feel to give a gentle flap. The good news that something happened. The bad news that it wasn't what he had been going for. The metal wings jerked in a sporadic movement. They spazzed into rapid, uneven strokes, and Bash felt his feet leave the ground. He desperately grabbed at the ground, but suddenly the wings jerked him sideways. Bash tried to imagine the wings closing, but instead the jets turned on and thrusting him into the ground. Bash took the opportunity to dig his claws into the earth. The wings continued to jerk about, but at least he was staying in the same spot. Clear your mind, Bash! Robot was running over to him. Try not to think! He dodged a stray laser. Bash did what he was told. He stopped thinking of trying to control the wings and just stared ahead, instead of focused on breathing and slowing his heart rate. To Bash's surprise, the wings calmed down. Bash was quick to remove the helmet from Bash's... Drobot was quick to remove the helmet from Bash's head, causing the wings to go entirely limp. I'm so sorry, Bash cried immediately. I didn't break them, did I? Drobot was shaking his head. This wasn't your fault. I think in numbers, so the suit got confused when it was presented with images and feeling. Well, we tried, Echo said. Remember, Bash? I told you not to hang your hopes on this. There were 1,000 other ways to impress Flashwing. Bash smiled at her. This was only Plan A, he said. Plan A? Echo frowned. Don't you think you could maybe should try something different? I mean, isn't there a guarantee that... There isn't even a guarantee that flying was what will impress her. It will, Bash insisted. He just knew it. What's happened over here? That's not my Pop Fizz voice. It's Pop Fizz. Well, well, what's happened over here? That's not a good one. What's happened? Well, what's happening over here? That was good enough. A new voice asked. Pop Fizz hobbled over to the ruined lawn. Bash wants to impress Flashwings. Who'll go on a date with him? Chopper said simply. Echo glared at him, but the little dinosaur didn't notice. Oh, I can help you with that, the grandma said happily. Follow me. Bash and Echo exchanged weary glances. It was nice of Pop to offer to help, but... Go see what he has to offer, Chopper suggested. Joe and I will clean this up. The two dragons followed Pop Fizz all the way to his potion shed. While most of his concoctions were made in Fizzland, Pop had his little shack to store excessive supplies so he could mix up something in a pinch. It had proven quite useful at times. Other times, not so much. Bash eagerly led him aside where he began to search the crowded shelves for something. Bash was worried that some of the precariously balanced items would tip, but amazingly, nothing did. Muttering, Pop Fizz leaped down to a towering stack of stools and flung open the low cabinets under his counter. Finally, Echo decided to speak up. Pop, what are you? Aha! He exclaimed. I knew I'd left something. Pop Fizz climbed out from the cupboard to face the dragons. A small pink vial was clutched in his furry hand. Bash heard Echo breathe in sharply beside him and had a funny feeling he knew what was in that jar. A few drops of this, Pop said, and you'll have the attention of any girl for a full day. And if you're good enough for making her really enjoy your enchanting date, she'll never know the difference. Echo looked like she was about to retort, so Bash quickly spoke first. Thank you, I'll definitely consider it. He ignored Echo's disbelieving look and took a little jar Pop was offering him. He bowed in other thanks and carefully backed out of his shack. Be sure to let me know how it goes, Pop called out as after the dragons as they left. They continued to walk in silence until they were out of Pop Fizz's hearing range. Then Echo whipped around to face Bash. You can't seriously be considering using that, she exploded. That has to be the dirtiest, least honorable... what are you doing? Bash hadn't so much as glanced at her during this outburst. Instead, he was busy digging a deep hole into the ground. He dropped the vial of love potion in a ditch and began to fill it back up. I want Flashwing to love me for being me, not because of some enchantment, he said simply. Echo smiled slyly and gave him a playful nudge. Now all you have to do is tell her that. Tell that to her. Bash gave the man a few firm pats. Come on, he said to Echo. I have another plan to get into sky. Echo's smile dropped. Bash, you don't need to fly. In fact, I think you already had everything you need. Just use that golden heart of yours. Please, Echo, Bash begged. I'm sure it'll work this time. It works for most Skylanders. She didn't give much of a chance to reply before Bash started walking again. I'll show you, he said. Realized there was no arguing with him, Echo followed. Bash looked at the parked vehicles with excitement when Echo looked on with growing dread. The superchargers were available to all Skylanders and people closely in league with them. It was to prevent any skirmishes in tight situations. However, due to the continued pleading of many of the superchargers, Master Ian has consented to permanently ban Flynn from all the vehicles unless given direct permission from the owner. Flynn has yet to so much see his reflection in the polished surface of a vehicle. Bash spotted Stormblade, Astroblast, and Nightfall, and quickly made his way over to... Oh my god, 3 more voices. He was technically free to use any of the vehicles at any time, but he felt like he should ask. Stormblade was the first to notice him and Echo. Hey, Bash! No, I gotta do a bird girl voice. Hey, Bash! Hey, Echo! What are you doing over here? That's a pretty good one. She gasped in a new thought. Are you being needed for a mission? No, said Bash. We just... I guess you'd consider it a mission. If you wanted to. Bash wants to know if you're willing to teach him how to fly a sky vehicle, Echo said flatly. Bash smiled up at them hopefully. Stormblade and Astrobash explains that look that Bash couldn't read. Nightfall, on the other hand, smirked knowingly and leaned against a tree. This will be fun to watch. I don't know what to do with her voice. I'm really sorry. Astrobash shot her a quick glare. Have you ever landed a vehicle before? Stormblade asked. Any vehicle? No, Bash admitted. Well, no, he's kind of like robotish or kind of like this. Oh, well, there's always a first time for everything, I guess, Astroblast said. That's a terrible voice for him, but I'm going to stick with it. Go see if you can find a vehicle you like, and then we'll get started. He's British, too. Bash looked at the different vehicles eagerly, but quickly realized that he hadn't the slightest idea which ones to pick. He decided he definitely wanted easy, but how to tell? What is just the Sunrunner? Nightfall said. It's ever so highly technologically advanced systems, making flight rather simple. Perfect for a first-time flyer. Bash gave her a grateful look, completely missing the mortified one Astroblast gave her. Bash turned to him and asked, May I? Definitely. Astroblast led him to the Sunrunner and rubbed his front affectionately. Nightfall wasn't kidding when she said that this was one of the easier vehicles to man, he said. But it doesn't change the fact that you'll be aware of yourself and your surroundings. Bash nodded eagerly. He listened attentively while Astro explained the basic controls and what to definitely not press. Most of these buttons don't actually aid in flight, so you shouldn't need any of them. I'm setting your mic to stay on so you don't have to press it every time you need to say something. I'll be instructing you from the ground with this. He held up a small walkie-talkie. Do exactly what I tell you. Stormblade will be keeping an eye on you from above, and Nightfall's in the lake below. They both have mics as well. Between the 3 of us, I don't think you'll have much problem. Bash clambered clumsily into the cockpit. He tried to sit in the seat, but his tail felt crowded in the small space. Here, Astroblast said and pressed the small button on the dashboard. The seat was retracted into the floor and was placed by a solid surface. Perfect, Bash grinned. He definitely preferred this arrangement as he could comfortably look around and reach all the controls. Astroblast stepped away from the Sunrunner and the cockpit automatically slid closed. A slight crackling came from the intercom before Astroblast's voice followed. Alright, we're going to take this slowly. Are you ready, Bash? Ready, Bash affirmed. Bash followed the step-by-step instructions he was given, and soon the Sunrunner was hovering a few feet above the ground. Good job, Astroblast congratulated. Now you need to keep going straight up until you've gained enough altitude that you won't hit the other vehicles. Bash obeyed and gently guided his vehicle straight up. Apparently only 2 of the sky vehicles had this hover ability. The one he was in and the Stealth Stinger. You're doing great! You're doing great! Stormblade's voice came through for the first time. Bash looked out his window and saw the Lark was already in the air and performing various flips and twists. Bash watched with growing anticipation for another voice came in. Quit trying to show off, Sunshine. Nightfall said, This isn't playtime. Please, Stormblade scoffed. If I wanted to show off, Let's try to focus, guys, alright? Astroblast cut in. You and focus? Nightfall questioned. That's new. Just ignore them, Bash, Astroblast sighed. You're high enough now to start moving forward, so turn on your thrusts. Bash did so, and the Sunrunner started to move forward slightly, even though he hadn't touched the acceleration. For a moment, he was worried he did something wrong, but Astroblast quickly confirmed that it was normal. Now I want you to gently press the acceleration. I'll tell you when to stop. The Sunrunner began to move forward steadily with gaining speed. Bash was careful to take it slowly. His heart hammered against his chest with the weight of what he was doing. "That's good," Astro Blast said. Bash immediately let go of the acceleration, and the Sunrunner started to slow down. "No, don't let go. Just stop pressing it further." Seeing his mistake, Bash pressed it again, and the vehicle lurched forward slightly. "Sorry," he apologized. "No need. It's a common mistake. Just try not to overcorrect. The worst thing you can do is overcorrect." Bash nodded, then he realized no one could see him. "Got it," he said. "Come out to the lake," Stormblade said. "We can go a little more advanced out here." Bash's heart hammered in his chest as he carefully angled the Sunrunner to the right. He felt a thrill as it responded. "I'm doing it! I'm actually flying!" He dipped below one of the floating targets with ease and then went above another. It's nowhere near as hard as he expected. Bash was aware of his tail beginning to move back and forth behind him as he concentrated on what was in front of him. He got a glimpse of something moving through the water. Nightfall, he assumed. The sky stars just suddenly moved into view. "Oh, I think he's ready to take it up a notch, Astro," he said. "I don't know," came a hesitant reply. "Maybe." The Sunrunner suddenly jerked to the side, and Bash found himself spinning out of control. Startled, he yanked the steering wheel up in an attempt to tighten the vehicle. Instead, the Sunrunner shot upwards while gaining extreme speed. Bash found himself freeze up in terror as it didn't stop. "Go down! Go down!" Astro Blast was shouting. Bash immediately shoved the steering wheel down. He was going so fast that all he could see was a whirlwind of color. "Up, up, up!" Stormblade warned. Bash yanked upward again, but not so hard this time. He was still going way too fast, with no idea of how to make it stop. "Bash, you need to try to relax, and for Eon's sake, let go of the acceleration!" Astro Blast shouted. Bash hadn't even realized he'd been holding it down. He let go when suddenly Stormblade shouted, "Drift!" Bash yanked to the side and collided with a tiny island. The Sunrunner was going so fast that it went straight through, leaving behind a pile of rubber. "Bash, that was your right." Nightfall sounded pretty calm compared to the other two. "The lake! Go to the lake!" Astro Blast said. "Where is the lake?" Bash cried. And that ends part 1. So if you guys want to hear part 2, you got to let me know, leaving a like and a comment below, and check out Rainstorm's channel because she's going to be doing stuff like this all the time. So, or she can send them over to me and I'll do a readout. It's all up to her. But yes, go check out her channel. She definitely deserves your guys at least checking it out and see if you enjoy it. Upcoming SkyTuber. But if you guys want more, you gotta let me know. Leave a like and a comment below. Part 2 is ready to go. So if you guys want more, I'll do that. But as always, I bid you farewell.